With us today, that they know they are in the place to begin to find the tools to have their own experience of the divine, because we don't put anyone or anything in the way between us and our experience of the divine. We don't do that. But we do give the tools so that each one of us can find that place in themselves where the human meets the divine. And we know that all is well and all is taken care of, and we are free to move into our day spreading whatever joy and happiness that we found in this place. So I give thanks for this meeting, and I release this treatment into law by saying, and so it is. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. I am opening, my heart is ready to receive.
So good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton. I'm Jon Heron, and I'm the spiritual director of this center. And we are a loving, healing, and inclusive community which teaches and practices the principles of the science of mind for the well-being and spiritual growth of ourselves and the world. So today is sort of a special day. We're having our annual membership meeting after the service. So we welcome you all, and we welcome seeing some new faces. It's very good to see everybody here. Today I'm giving a talk. Originally it was supposed to be Reverend Frankie Timmers, who had a personal problem and couldn't be here, and so I'm jumping in. And I'm going to be sharing with you some of the personal work that I've been doing and study that I've been doing. Next week, as we've been doing the first Sunday of each month, our meeting is on Zoom. So you don't have to come down to the Masonic Lodge, as beautiful as it is out there. You can attend from home, and Reverend Rodney Gittins, a new speaker, he is the minister at one of our centers in Brooklyn, and he will be speaking, and I'm looking forward to that, and a new voice. I met him at the convention in Reno. The weekend after that, we have Reverend Karen Kushner, our former minister, and after that, Reverend Michelle Wadley, who we all know. A reminder that on Wednesdays, we have a peace meditation at 11:45 Eastern that our practitioner Susan Neat runs. It's quite a beautiful thing, and it lasts 10 or 15 minutes. So if you want to take a break in the middle of your day and connect, and Susan is so present in spirit when she does it. It's a wonderful time to really connect with that deeper place inside of yourself. You'll find the Zoom link on our webpage, cslprinceton.org, or on our Facebook page, CSL Space Princeton. It's also in our Wednesday email that we send out. And if you don't receive that email and would like to, just let me know and I'll add you to the list. I'm thinking, because I have been thinking a lot about what it means for us to have community. However many people are here, we come, each of us, to connect with the presence of the deeper truth that lives within us. And we know that we can do that in a deeper way when we do it together. And so we show up here on Sunday morning, or using technology, we do it through Facebook or Zoom or whatever. But this is a sacred place. We are sacred people coming here recognizing that sacredness. And so when I say that I welcome you, we are welcoming each other to that truth that lives within us. That's what we're here for. So again, welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Princeton.
Lean into love, let spirit flow, infinite presence, all that we know. Mind creates soul, think it true. Love is here in all that we do. One with light, one with grace, God in action, time and space. No more fear, no more lack. Love moves forward, never goes back. Lean into love, let spirit guide. Truth within, no need to hide. Power, peace, and joy divine. Infinite love, forever mine. Lean into love, let spirit flow. Infinite presence, all that we know. Mind creates soul, think it true. Love is here in all that we do. Mind creates soul, think it true. Love is here in all that we do.
Good morning. My name is Torres. I'm one of the licensed practitioners here. And I wanted to touch a tiny bit on what John said, that we are an open and inclusive community. One of the things that I traditionally do is bring in thoughts or topics that we discuss here, coming from other traditions, other parts of the world. And today I'm going to do exactly that. I have two little stories I wanted to talk about, both of which come out of the Zen tradition. And also we know that individuals, even though we share one mind, we share one basic set of ideas, there are things where we're all different. So there's diversity within the unity. And that means that things that might appeal to one person might be understood by one person, might not be understood by another directly, but we all figure out some way to get along. The two stories I want to tell are both from Zen tradition, but they bring out totally different points. The first one is a story of a Zen master and a novice monk who were walking along, walking through the forest, monk was pestering, the novice was pestering and asked her about, how do I become enlightened? How do I learn to really connect with what's going on around me? And the master put up with these questions for a while. And after a few minutes, he maybe lost patience a little bit and said to the novice, to be quiet for a minute, to hear that waterfall. And the novice said, yes, I hear it. The master said, go into enlightenment there. So it isn't really important what particular thing you do, whatever your practice may be, to listen to what's going on is what we want you doing, hearing what everybody says, hearing what spirit says. The second one is kind of the story is kind of the opposite of that. It's called Banzan and the Butcher. Well, it turns out that there was this Zen philosopher, as close as we get to being a philosopher and still being Zen, and he was walking one day through the marketplace, and he heard, walked by the butcher shop, and somebody said to the butcher, I want your best cut of meat. And the butcher said, they're all my best. He stopped for a second and said, without saying it verbally, you just realized that the idea of comparing one earthly thing to another, or having one particular way of doing things and preferring it to another, was pretty much total nonsense, because everything that we're confronted with all the time is an opportunity. So, in that context, I want to give a bit of a treatment. For everyone here, for everyone listening, everyone who's now, everyone here now, everyone wherever you may be listening to this now or later, we know that there is only one mind, only one source, only one presence that's here all the time, everywhere. Because it's everywhere, all the time, it's within and working through each of us, every moment. Knowing that this is so, we know that ultimately we're going to do the right thing, even if it seems to be wrong, even if it seems to be unusual. If we know that we are in conformance with the one, if we are listening to that still small voice that is coming to us, we know that what we do is going to work out in the long run. Because we know this, we don't worry about all the little details all the time. We get into details, we're not getting lost in them, because we know that in the long range and the long, big picture, everything is going to work out. We know that this is so, we know that it's always been so. Release this word through the law, which makes it so, and has always made it so. So that even if we are neglected to say something, that presence, that one being, the law, hears us. Whatever needs to be done, whatever is right to do, is already done. And we say together,
and so it is.
There's a silence in the morning when the stars still linger low, and I sit here with my longing for a truth I've yet to know. Not a whisper, not a thunder, but a stillness drawing near, where the heart begins to wander and the soul begins to clear. I'm diving deep where the current runs slow, where the dreamer meets the doer and the river starts to flow, in the chamber of the heart where the seeds of wonder grow. I'm diving deep to be all I've come to know. So I'll rise with my devotion to the work and to the flame. Let the winds of your emotion carve a truth I will not name. For the flow is ever guided like a river knows the sea. And the art is in the finding of the love that flows free. I'm diving deep where the voices are all still, where the quiet paints a vision and the post becomes the will. In the garden of the mind, love is shaping every hill. I'm diving where the world begins to fill. It's not a gift that's given, it's a song that's always sung, a melody eternal in the air and on the tongue. Creation is a prayer, not for pleading but for praise. It's the fire in the artist and the dawn in all our days. I'm diving deep into the wellness inside, where the silence turns to color and the soul forgets to hide. In the stillness of the source, I no longer need to try. I'm diving in the heart that paints the sky. I'm diving deep to the heart that paints the sky. I'm diving deep into the heart that paints the sky. And now we have our licensed practitioner and spiritual director, the man who makes it all happen every Sunday, Jon Heron.
Jon Heron.
Isn't it a wonderful thing to be in a room full of people who have no reason to be there other than to recognize their own sacredness?
Ooh.
So that's a pretty wonderful thing, and so I'm really glad that you're here. I'm really glad that each one of us have come to be together. And it's a funny thing because Gary didn't really know, he knew the title of what I was going to talk about, which is Speak, Listen Below the Noise.
Ooh.
Right? And he came up with the two perfect stories, right? And then Rich sings the song. It's like, oh, okay, that's perfect. So I want to just appreciate how that sort of comes together. Today, I'll just admit to you that I just found out that I'm speaking today last week, right? And I usually take a lot of time and prepare, but Reverend Frank Timmers was supposed to be here today and couldn't for personal reasons. And so I'm going to share from the inner work that I'm doing and the research that I'm doing in my life, and I'm going to tell stories. So we got 2 stories from Gary, and we're going to get 3 stories from me. And I'm going back to this quote that I found from Ernest Holmes, who is the founder of the Science of Mind. And I talked about it before, but it's still pulling me. Speak peace into confusion, and your peace will heal that confusion. In a world that can be quite confusing, that just grabs me. It makes me think, what does that mean? But Ernest Holmes also said, there's a vast difference between believing in a principle and using it. To believe in and understand a principle is merely preliminary to the use of such a principle. So you know that our practice is spiritual mind treatment. And I'm going to ask, and you don't have to raise your hand or anything like that. You need to answer for yourself. Everyone here, I don't know what you know about it, but everyone here knows how to do spiritual mind treatment. Some have done it more, some have done it less, some worry about the words, we all could do it. It's a pretty simple process. There's one truth that lives inside of everybody, it lives inside of me, and so I know that's the truth that's showing up in my life, and I'm grateful for knowing that, and so it is. There's a treatment. We can all do it. Do we do it? This is the thing that Ernest Holmes, it's funny how, you find in the books the things that you need to see. I keep coming up to that question, are we doing it? Or are we just, it's a teaching that goes very deep and it's fun to understand it. It's fun to dig into it and try to think about it. That's not what the teaching is. The teaching is connect with Spirit and confirm your connection with Spirit and declare it. So in doing my research, I was looking in other traditions, just like Gary was saying, other traditions have wonderful things. I'm clear that the science of mind is my path. And I love reading in other traditions because it helps me understand. It comes at these truths that don't belong to science of mind, don't belong to Zen, they belong to humanity. And each segment of humanity has found ways of teaching it and living it. So in searching for other ideas, how other teachings deal with confusion, deal with actively, spiritually dealing with confusion. And I came across this story from the founder of Hasidic Judaism, whose name was Rabbi Israel ben Eliezer, and he's called the Baal Shem Tov, which means the good or holy master of the name. There are all these wonderful stories about the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov says, when a person is confused, the confusion itself is a garment of the king. What an interesting way of putting it. He means that the confusion is not a mistake, it's a mask the divine wears to invite you deeper. Mm-hmm. Right? We are continually being invited to this deep truth that lives within us, that lives within the world. And so the confusion is there to go, what's that? Now most of the world doesn't go beyond the what's that. What we teach in the science of mind, no, there are specific ways of responding to this confusion, responding what's appearing in the world, to pierce through it and see the truth that lives within it, behind it. A disciple once asked the Baal Shem Tov, why does God send me people who disturb my peace? It's like a version of, why are there crazy people in the world? Right? The Baal Shem Tov replied with a story, and I will speak it in the first person. I was once traveling with my friend Moshe. We were going to a distant town where I had been invited to pray over a new synagogue. We were tired, we were hungry, and we passed an inn on the road. And we decided, let's stop at the inn, get something to eat to give us strength so we can continue with our trip. So we went into the inn, and as soon as we opened the door, we found the innkeeper yelling, screaming, slamming doors, slamming pots and plates and all this stuff. He was furious. Moshe wanted to turn around and run away. But I told him, stay. Listen beneath the noise. Overcoming his fear of the innkeeper, Moshe sat down and listened deeply to the innkeeper's complaints. And he started to hear something else. He realized that the innkeeper was terrified. His child, whom he loved more than anything else, was sick. And the innkeeper was drowning in worry. And so I said to Moshe, the anger was only a shell. Inside it was a spark of fear, longing to be comforted. When you meet a disturbance, ask, what spark is crying out beneath this? So I will ask all of us here, including myself, what do you hear when you listen beneath the noise of your life? If you think of the places in your life where there are confusing things going on, and I'm going to assume you're all human, you all have confusing things in your lives. Take a minute and think about it. What do you hear beneath the noise? What spark is crying out for you to notice it in those places in your life where there's confusion? This is something obviously you can take with you after this talk, and I hope you take it with you. Think about it. What spark is crying out for you to notice it? A place inside that wants healing. Ernest Holmes taught us to look not at the confusion, but through the confusion. What truth is trying to reveal itself? What truth is calling out to you through the confusion? And if you think about it, isn't that what treatment is? Someone comes to us, or you find it in yourself that there's a problem. We might say there's the appearance of a problem, right? And we open ourselves to the truth that's trying to reveal itself. And we declare that deeper truth to be the truth that's demonstrating itself, that's showing up, rather than accepting the smallness of a confusion. So that's the first story. Here's a Native American story. There was once a young brave who felt a stirring inside him. He was a teenager, so he had lots of stirrings. It was a restlessness that no comfort could soothe. And the elders looked at him and they said, oh, we've seen this before. And they told him, the inner wind is calling you. When the inner wind calls, you must go into the wilderness. There you will meet someone who will teach you the truth. So he went. And you know, he's a teenager. He has a chip on his shoulder. He knows everything. He knows every tree. He knows all the streams of the water, everything. In the first day, he walked with confidence. He followed the river. He knew how to follow the sun. All the familiar signs. But then the second day came, and it was cloudy. And he couldn't see the sun. And suddenly he came to a place where the river forked. And he didn't know which fork he was supposed to follow. And the trees grew really dense and strange, and every direction looked the same, and he tried to retrace his steps. But the forest swallowed the path behind him, and he had no idea where he was. Panic arose in his chest. This was not what this teenager was used to. Total panic. I'm lost. In his fear, he shouted to the sky, "Spirits, help me! I don't know where I am." And then he heard a wind moving through the branches as if it was talking to him. It said, "You aren't lost. You're being emptied." "But I don't know what to do," he said. The wind replied, "Good. If you knew, you would only repeat what you have already done. Confusion is the place where the old knowing dies." The wind continued. When the mind cannot find the way, the heart begins to listen. Stay here in the confusion. Let the forest rearrange you. So he stayed and listened to the rustling leaves, the distant water, the pulse of the earth beneath him. Hours passed, maybe days, he could no longer tell. Then, prompted by something within, he got up and started walking. He didn't know where he was going, but something within him was guiding him. He reached a clearing he had never seen before, and yet it seemed really familiar. In the center was a pool of still water. He looked into it, expecting to see his reflection. Instead, he saw the face of what he would look like when he had emerged from his confusion. The face that he was moving toward. A self he had not yet grown into. And the wind spoke to him one last time. You were never meant to find the old path. You were meant to become someone who could walk a new path. And with that, the young brave understood he had not really been lost. He had found the person who answered his question, and it was himself. And then there's the last story, and this is a real one. It happened in 1991. I came across this and I thought, oh, that really does fit. When Ernest Holmes tells us it's not just a thing of thinking and belief, it's a thing of turning it into action and actually doing the practice. It's a story about a man named Michael Weiser, and he was a Jewish cantor. Now, the cantor is the one who sings the prayers in the synagogue. And in the Jewish service, there's a lot of music. And so, if you have a good cantor, it's a wonderful thing. I remember from my childhood. It's quite a wonderful thing. So that was his job. He was a cantor, and he had been hired by a new synagogue that he'd never been to in Lincoln, Nebraska. And he and his wife Julie and their kids, they moved to Lincoln, Nebraska to serve this new community. So there they are in the new house that was given to them, unpacking boxes, making plans, not sure what the future held. And then the packages begin arriving with hate literature, anti-Semitic pamphlets, neo-Nazi flyers. This is a true story. Then the phone calls stopped. You'll be sorry you ever moved to Nebraska, the message says. I know where you live. Your days are numbered. It turns out the calls were coming from Larry Trapp, who was the Grand Dragon of the Nebraska Ku Klux Klan. Trapp also operates a local hate hotline, broadcasting recorded anti-Black and anti-Semitic messages to anyone who dials in. He has spent more than 20 years building a life around organized hatred and has threatened multiple minority communities across Nebraska. Now, many people in Michael Weiser's position would call the police, or move, or lock the door and go quiet and hope it stops. But Michael Weiser called Larry Trapp back. He left a message on Trapp's answering machine. Larry, I just wanted you to know that you must be a very unhappy man, but there's a lot of love out there for you if you want it. This is a true story, remember. He called again a few days later. Another message. Larry, why do you have to live this way? It doesn't have to be like this. No response. Weiser calls again and again. Over the next 3 weeks, he leaves message after message, not accusations, not arguments, just a human voice at the other end of the line, refusing to be an enemy, speaking peace into confusion. And one day, Larry Trapp picks up the phone. He is furious. He tells Weiser to stop calling. He uses language designed to end the conversation through shock. But Weiser has done some research and found out some things about Larry. And so he calmly says, I know you're very sick, Larry. I thought maybe you needed a ride to the doctor sometime. Long pause. How do you know I'm sick? Well, by this point, Weiser had learned that Larry Trapp is 44 years old. He has diabetes so severe that both his legs have been amputated. He's going blind from the same disease. He lives completely alone in a small apartment in Lincoln, Nebraska. He can't drive. He rarely leaves his home. He has almost no one in his life, just the network of hate that has given him purpose and identity for more than 2 decades. He's not a powerful figure behind a fortress wall. He's a sick, dying man alone in a dirty apartment. And no one in the world is offering him anything except the ideology that told him his loneliness was someone else's fault. Michael Weiser saw this and decided that it matters. So he and his wife Julie show up at Trapp's door unannounced, bringing a homemade dinner. Trapp opens the door and sees a Jewish man and his wife standing in the hallway with food. He's totally confused, but he lets them in. The apartment walls are covered with KKK material, swastikas, and neo-Nazi literature. The Weissers just walk in and sit down. They don't debate him. They don't argue doctrine or history. They share a meal with the man who told them their days were numbered. And they treat him like a human being who still has time left. And they begin to talk. And they talk. And Larry Trapp starts to cry. And can't stop crying. It goes on for several hours. And before the evening end, Larry tells the Weissers that he really wants out, but he doesn't know how to do it. He has nothing else. And then he asks them to help him take all those awful things off his walls. And they leave there, not knowing what's going to happen next. But the next day, Larry calls the KKK and resigns. He's done. One act of true kindness, maybe the only one Larry had ever experienced, one act of speaking peace into confusion. And he was done. Again, what I've said all along, this is a true story. Over the next several months, Larry Trapp converted to Judaism. He met individually with members of the minority communities he had threatened, and he asked each of them for forgiveness. He was welcomed into the Weiser synagogue by a congregation he once would have treated as enemies. And then his health collapses. The Weissers move him into their home. They take care of him. They stay with him. They sit at the dinner table with him and their kids. Larry Trapp died in 1992, less than 1 year after that first dinner. He died in a Jewish home, tended to by a Jewish family, after spending his final months trying to undo 20 years of harm, one conversation at a time. Weiser was asked many times why he did it. The answer never changed. He saw a suffering man underneath the hatred. And he thought someone had to recognize that suffering and do something about it. Someone had to listen beneath the noise. And so, when Ernest Holmes tells us to speak peace into confusion, and your peace will heal that confusion, I know that for myself, right, I've been studying and practicing this teaching for 15 years. And it's very important to me, right? It's very important to me to be with other people who think like I do, right? To strengthen my own understanding, my own practice. But there's a part of me that I hear these words, speak peace into confusion, and your peace will heal that confusion. And in my mind, it goes as far as I let it go. Right? And this is true for each one of us. This is our teaching. There is one mind that has no limit. Our minds, each of us, is simply the amount of that truth that we have allowed into our lives. By expanding our consciousness, all that's happening is the fullness that is the one truth. We get more of it. And that's what shows up in our lives, because the world is about consciousness. Change our consciousness and our world changes. And so this morning I was reading over what I was going to talk about, and I added this little thing. Why do we meet here every Sunday morning? What if our reason for being is we are the place which is seeing the peace through the confusion, or at least is trying. And anyone can come here and experience the peace and learn how to do that. Because, as Ernest Holmes says, it's not just a thought, it's not just an understanding, it's a doing. We have to use the teaching. All of us know how to do spiritual mind treatment. And if you don't, you're in a room with 7 practitioners. Any one of us would be really glad to help you to learn how to do it. It is the tool that Ernest Holmes taught that's sort of at the center of our teaching. Start doing it at whatever level you understand, just do it. Speak peace into confusion. And I will assure you, and I know Regina would, and any of the practitioners would, if you start doing that as a regular practice in your life, very simple, 5 minutes, or 15 minutes, or an hour, whatever you want to do. If you start doing that in your life, you will see a change in your consciousness. And the change in your consciousness will show up in your world. That's what this teaching is all about. Expanding our consciousness, in response, the world changes. And if you don't think that's the truth, maybe somebody is watching online and is less familiar with this teaching. If you think I'm exaggerating, I'm challenging you. Join me in treating for peace. I do it every day, right? I really have taken this statement as a challenge. Speak peace into confusion, and your peace will heal that confusion. I walk down the street, I'm walking the dog. I start thinking, well, what's showing up in my world? I know that what's the truth that's speaking through what's showing up is peace. And I continually try to affirm that to myself, to build my own consciousness of peace. And I'm challenging you. Let this community be a community where we speak peace into confusion. So anyone who walks into this space where we're here will know that that's the truth and will want to join us. We're going to have our meeting. How do we build this center? My opinion is by building our consciousness, by doing our practice. And so, spend some time doing treatment for whatever confusion is showing up in your life. And as each one of us opens to a deeper truth and lives it, we change the world. Not just our world, we change the world. Speak peace into confusion. Thank you.
Bravo.
Oh, and I forgot to mention that I will be teaching a class starting August 5th, throughout August, 4 Wednesdays. It's in the middle of the day. The flyer is over there. Now, by the way, it says noon to 1:30 p.m. Central Time. It starts 1 p.m. Eastern Time. For 4 Wednesdays, it's a wonderful class on the book Your Invisible Power by Ernest Holmes, where all these things that I've been talking about, that's what this book is about. How do we connect with the oneness that we are? So please, take a flyer, sign up for the class. I would love to see you there. Brilliant. John, brilliant.
Almost in tears. We've watched John take up the responsibility for being our spiritual director. And we've listened to John give us lessons from time to time. And the consciousness building that John has done and is doing reflects the beauty of your lessons. So I want to thank you, Ernest. I see you, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it. So, for those of you out there in virtual land, come on down. Not next Sunday, but following Sunday. Come on down. We've had terrific speakers here, and I'm going to read a quote from one of them, from Reverend Michelle Watley. I am the living expression of divine love. Love flows through me, around me, and as me. Wherever I walk, love walks. Whatever I touch, love blesses. Whoever I see through the eyes of love. Love, absolutely, is the truth of my being. So now I'm going to walk around with our donation basket. We are grateful for everyone who donates to the Center for Spiritual Living Princeton. That's why we're here, because you donate, and we're grateful. For virtual land, cslprinceton.org. Just scroll down and you'll see the donate button and prayer request button. So please join us in celebrating this beautiful Sunday.
Abundance flows, a sacred stream, from mind divine to life's grand dream. No luck, no loss, just boundless grace, infinite wealth, in time and space. I think I speak, and so it grows. The law of good forever flows. My thoughts are seeds, my faith is strong. Consciousness sings my will's sweet song. I claim my good, I stand in light. Prosperity shines clear and bright. No fear, no doubt, Just trust, just know, source divine, all riches grow, abundance flows, a sacred stream, from mind divine to life's grand dream. No lack, no loss, just endless grace, infinite wealth in time and space.
Thank you, Reverend Rich. And let's give Reverend Rich a clap for his wonderful music he shared with us today. John, you going to come and give us a closing treatment? And thank you all for being here. It's wonderful to have that one consciousness spread out throughout all of us.
Yeah, the real treatment here is our presence. More than that is not needed, but let's put words on it as Ernest Holmes taught us, and that is, there is one infinite gift being given, which is present everywhere, in all things, at all times. The universe is the divine giving itself to itself in the form of each one. That divine is present in each one, present in every aspect of CSL principle. And so I declare the divine to be fully present in each heart. And as each one leaves here, each one finds that their consciousness is expanding. They see the truth, they hear the peace beyond the noise. And so each one's life is expanded, lifted up, raised in every way. Greater health is present. Greater wonderful relationships are present. Perfect abundance in every way, financial and otherwise, is fully present. Because that is what the universe is, and that is what each one is. And so I know that each one's life is now fuller, richer, in the presence of a deeper, truer consciousness. And I'm so grateful to know this truth. And I release it to that which is continually saying yes. The yes has already been said, it is done, and we say together, and so it is.